Good morning, and thank you for tuning in to another installment with On This Day with Christy. Hi, I'm Christy. Today is Monday, May 25th, 2026. We're going to hop in our magic van, take a nice ride, go magical places and magical journeys. Hey, I'm trying here. Anywho, today in music history, Dire Straits' Brothers in Arms began a multiple record-breaking run. In the 1985 Dire Straits filmed-out studio album Brothers in Arms began a 14-week run at the top of the UK chart, kicking off a phenomenally successful campaign. One of the highest-selling albums worldwide, Brothers in Arms went to spend 9 weeks atop the Billboard 200, break chart records in the Netherlands, and hit number one in more than a dozen territories. The Grammys and Brit winning title was also unique in that it was one of the first albums to be recorded fully digitally and then marketed to CD buyers. It would soon become their first CD to sell 1 million copies, and for the CD to outsell its vinyl components. In 1963, influential blues artist Sonny Boy Williamson died at the age of 52. The singer, songwriter, and harmonica player rose to international fame in the 1950s and 60s, recording for Chess Records and its subsidiary Checker. In the years before his death, Williamson toured Europe and the UK, inspiring and working with many of the era's rising blues stars. In 1998, Coldplay released their debut recording, Safety. Intended as a demo, the 3-song EP featured the songs Bigger, Stronger, Such a Rush, both of which appeared on the Blues Room EP, and No More Keeping My Feet on the Ground. Later released as a B-side to the single Yellow. Of the 50 CDs that were pressed, only 50 were sold of the 500 CDs that were pressed, only 50 were sold at shows. Today, the EP remains a high-priced rarity. So if you have it and you want to sell it, now might be the time. In 1961, with the Temperance Seven's You're Driving Me Crazy, producer George Martin saw his first #1 hit in the UK pop chart. Several years later, Martin would help to shape the sound of the Beatles, so much that he was often referred to as the fifth Beatle. In 1997, Elvis Presley was named world's best-selling posthumous artist in 20 years. Sorry, there was a commercial, again. Okay, let's try this again without commercials. Because in 1961, with the Temperance Seven's You're Driving Me Crazy, producer George Martin saw his first #1 hit on the UK pop chart. Several years later, Martin would help to shape the sound of the Beatles, so much so that he was often referred to as the fifth Beatle. In 1997, Elvis Presley was named world's best-selling posthumous artist, 20 years after his death. At the time, the rock and roll icon still had hundreds of active fans, clubs, in global sales that exceed hundreds of millions of records. And next, we go on and get back on our magic band and go find some facts. So on May 25th, it's also known as Tap Dance Day and Towel Day. Tap dance on your towels? I don't know. In 2023, the FDA gave Elon Musk the go-ahead to trial his Neuralink brain implant on humans. In 2017, Wonder Woman, directed by Patty Jenkins, premiered in Los Angeles. It was the first superhero film directed by a woman. In 2011, Oprah Winfrey aired her last show. After 25 years and 4,561 episodes, the Oprah Winfrey Show ended. It remains one of the highest rated daytime talk shows in American TV history. Interesting. 32-year-old Eric Weinhammer from Boulder, Colorado, became the first blind person to reach the summit of Mount Everest. That's really impressive. The South Lebanon conflict, which began in 1985, ended on this day and Lebanon became liberated. This day is now celebrated every year as Lebanon Day of Liberation. Okay, it said what day the conflict began. Okay, never mind. It did. In 1992, Jay Leno became the permanent host of The Tonight Show. In 1986, I almost went to this. The Hands Across America charity event was held. The goal was to make a human chain holding hands from California to New York. Although many areas weren't populated enough to make the line unbroken, about 5 to 6.5 million people held hands for 15 minutes. The event raised $15 million for charities. In 1979, Aliens, directed by Ridley Scott, and starring Sigourney Weaver, was re-released. In 1961, U.S. President Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, that is, he was Arnold Kennedy, never mind, addressed Congress and promised to put a man on the moon within a decade. And last for our factoids. In 1895, Oscar Wilde was sentenced to 2 years of hard labor for committing gross acts of indecency with another male person. He was shuffled around a few different prisons during these 2 years. There he was forced to walk on treadmills and perform other mundane but physically exhausting tasks. Alright, let's go on to trivia. I'm not sure I'm ready for this. So, for our first question, what is the name for the area directly above an earthquake's focal point? Answer, the epicenter. Next question. How many countries are in Europe? Answer, 50. Question, what is the national flower of Japan? Answer, the cherry blossom. What is the capital city of Australia? Answer, Canberra. Okay, let's put on our party heart, pop back in our magic band, put on our party hats, because it's time for birthdays. Yay! 1921, Hal David. 1936, Tom T. Hall. 1948, Klaus Main. 1950, Robert Steinhardt. 1958, Paul Weller. 1959, Rick Smith. 1975, Lauryn Hill. And 1980, Joe King. If your birthday was today, happy birthday to you too. And don't forget, you can catch us here 7 days a week with Brian the Rock Stone on WCDI. And don't forget to check out the Top Rope Report every Sunday and Wednesday. Have a great day, y'all. Ciao.